Right now at noon, Missouri lawmakers head into the new session with a plan concerning the Missouri Constitution.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent day out there. Clouds will begin to increase and are gradually doing so ahead of some changes in our forecast. We'll take a look at all that coming up.
And KDOT workers are preparing for winter road conditions.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A passerby happened to notice smoke coming out of a Joplin home yesterday. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Amber Jenkins. Joplin firefighters were called to 1831 South Murphy Avenue shortly after 10:30 a.m. When firefighters arrived, smoke was pouring out of the attic. It was deemed that the fire has been ongoing for some time before the firefighters were notified. Deputy Fire Chief Andy Nimbo says that the Joplin Fire Marshal ruled the fire as accidental, as combustible materials were stored too close to a fire source. No one was at the home during the time of the fire, and no firefighters were injured battling the blaze. Fire crews in Jasper County Tuesday night responded to a house fire on County Road 105 north of Gum Road near Carthage. Neighbors report significant damage to the home, but everyone inside made it out safely. Authorities say utilities were cut while fighting the blaze, so the family has been displaced. Authorities are asking you for your help identifying this man who robbed a Tiff City store around 8 last night in Tiff City, Missouri. They believe the robber is a white man with blonde hair. Investigators hope someone recognized his clothing or overheard something suspicious. They say the robber carried a handgun, took money from the till, and broke several machines that were inside the store. However, no one was hurt. Now here's Chris.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a decent day for the most part. It's still chilly out there, but high is expected to be about average as we head into the afternoon. Those clouds that were off to our west this morning continuing to roll in across the area, so that's why we will eventually go mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy as we head through the rest of the afternoon and evening. Our camera atop the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin can see some of those clouds beginning to roll in, and we want to remind folks we do have these winter weather advisories. These haven't changed, which is good news in the sense they haven't been expanded by any means, but for parts of southeast Kansas, Washington County, and Oklahoma, they go into effect at 9 tonight and will continue until 6 o'clock Friday evening. So we are going to have more on our incoming snow here in a moment. Yesterday started at 25, so only a degree off of normal, made it up to 48, so only 3 degrees warmer than where we should be. A relatively average day. Today looking to be another relatively average day. We're sitting at 39 in Joplin, 37 in Pittsburgh. You can see sunshine in both locations, but you can also see from our camera at 7th and Rangeline those increasing clouds out there. Temperatures around the region out to the south and west, it's a little warmer. 42 Independence, Sedan, 45 Newata, Veneta, Grove, up to 46 in Jay, 43 Miami, 33 in Iola. So the further north and to the east you go, it's a little colder. Look at Fort Scott, still sitting at 29, kind of on the struggle bus to get a little warmer. So your highs probably topping out in the mid to upper 30s. 32 Monette, 33 Cassville, 37 in Stockton. We're going to again continue to see increasing clouds across the area, and with the incoming snow chances this Friday, which of course is tomorrow, you want to make sure you've got the KOAM Skywatch weather app. That way anytime you're not around your TV, you've got the latest weather alerts, the latest radar, the latest forecast, everything you need to know right there in the palm of your hand. So make sure you take an opportunity, download the KOAM Skywatch weather app today ahead of the storm. And speaking of, we're going to talk about those snow chances and what we're looking at in your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. Well, however the weather shapes up in the coming days, the Kansas Department of Transportation says they've been preparing for months. Its drivers are put through intense training that prepares them to drive the trucks and maintain them while the roads are in less than ideal circumstances. KDOT says being proactive is essential when it comes to winter conditions like snow and ice make their way to the 4 states. The first line of offense usually means salt before the plows even make it out the garage. Missouri 5-month annual legislative session began yesterday, and top Republican leaders say passing more laws directed at the LGBTQ+ people is not a priority. Bills filed this session in Missouri would make public drag shows a crime, require teachers to notify parents if students express confusion about their gender, and put limits on what books are available to minors in public and school libraries. But Republican House and Senate leaders indicate that they will not focus on those proposals. One issue that will be a priority, a plan to make it harder to amend the Missouri Constitution. The Joplin City Health Department announces a contract with the state to continue providing WIC services for the 2024 federal fiscal year. WIC is a supplemental nutrition program providing services to pregnant women, new mothers, infants, and children up to their 5th birthday. To be eligible for WIC, applicants must have an income not more than 185% of the poverty level and be at nutritional risk. For more information, including how to apply, you can go to KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in the first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM News at Noon. A developing story about a school shooting out of Perry, Iowa. We'll have the details. And later, we're making Mamma Mia's tortini soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Authorities in Iowa are investigating a shooting at a high school about 40 miles northwest of Des Moines. Police confirmed multiple people were hit, but they have not provided any details on how many and the extent of their injuries. The shooter has been identified, but police did not say whether the suspect is dead or alive. Michael George reports from New York.
Police and firefighters surrounded Perry High School outside of Des Moines early Thursday morning, amid reports of an active shooting.
An officer first arrived within 7 minutes of that activation and located multiple gunshot victims.
The incident occurred just as students were returning to school for the first time since holiday break.
School didn't start yet, luckily, so there was very few students and faculty in the building, which I think contributed to a good outcome in that sense.
Close to 600 students attend Perry High School, which was put on lockdown at the time. The school is connected to the middle school, with an elementary school just a few blocks away.
Security has changed dramatically in terms of who's allowed on the school campus, whether it's high school or college, and in the ability to try to detect what is going on in the schools through cameras, outside of the schools. But there is no one-size-fits-all security fix when it comes particularly to this type of education level.
A reunification center has been set up near the school for parents to pick up their children. Authorities say there's no further danger to the public at this time. Michael George, CBS News.
Another update, there are multiple injuries. One administrator is one of the injured. The suspected shooter is dead from an apparent gunshot wound. This is a developing story. Cases of COVID and the flu are on the rise in our area. KOAM's Anthony Saviello spoke with the health officials about the trends they're seeing.
After 4 years, COVID is still a consistent issue throughout the U.S. The case is no different for the 4-state area. Officials at the Newton County Health Department have noted not only a spike in COVID.
Well, we were at a very low number, less than 10 people in the county just a couple of months ago, and now we are at about 70 people in the county. So we have seen an upswing in COVID numbers.
But the flu as well.
The last report I saw was about 4 cases in the county. Last week we had about 18.
Mercy Hospital of Joplin also noted a similar spike in cases. COVID cases hitting their highest level since the beginning of 2023, as well as a spike of influenza cases. But why are these spikes happening?
Probably due to holiday seasons, people getting together with family and friends and gatherings.
Another reason could also be a low percentage of vaccination reports. The CDC reports that the highest percentage of those in our area with their up-to-date COVID booster is Labette County, Kansas, at only 12.7%. Jasper and Newton counties all fall under 10% of those who are up to date on vaccinations.
Vaccination is the best way to stay protected, but also those standard procedures, especially washing your hands, covering your nose and mouth when you cough or sneeze, staying indoors if there's a lot of sickness in the community. Those type of things certainly do help.
Though 2024 has just begun, that COVID-19 is still here. It's still around, and it's still causing issues. Though symptoms may be mild, it's still important to take precautions and to keep yourself and your family safe and healthy. Reporting in Newton County, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
According to the CDC, COVID hospitalizations have not been this high since January of 2023. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
It's January, and that means it's National Soup Month. Just wait until you see what we have cooking in this pot.
But first, we are tracking incoming snow chances across the area. We'll have the latest on that forecast when the KOAM News at Noon returns. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we have had a relatively cool day so far across the area. Some of us a little colder than others, but others starting to warm up a little bit. And on the whole, we're looking at temperatures right around average. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us clouds across the area. Those clouds that were well out to our west continuing to roll in from the east. So they're roughly lined up along and to the west of the I-49 corridor. I mean, it's roughly. See, it's a jagged edge here. But it's increasing and will continue to do so as we see clouds continue to build in from the southwest, because off to the southwest is this guy. And this guy is what's going to be bringing us our opportunity for some snow as we head into Friday across the area. As such, we do have winter weather advisories from 9 p.m. tonight through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening for parts of southeast Kansas and Washington County in northeastern Oklahoma. In terms of what we're looking at for snow, and I want to emphasize, this is just for Friday. We're not going out as far as Tuesday yet. There's already been changes for Tuesday, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But just for Friday, we're looking at a dusting up to an inch for the areas highlighted in white. In this light blue zone, we're talking 1 to 2 inches. And where those advisories are to further west, just west of Chanute and Independence, we're looking at that 2 to 4 inch range for snowfall. But across the entire region, impacts on roadways are the top concern in general, as there will undoubtedly be a number of slick spots out there. Temperatures warmer to the south and west, a little cooler to the north and east today as clouds continue to increase across the area. And it'll be early tomorrow morning, about 4 or 5 o'clock, that the snow does begin to roll in. And even from this morning, if you were watching the KOAM Morning News today, this was filled in all the way to Bentonville. There's only one small gap. So no major changes on the short range here for our snow coming in tomorrow. By 9 o'clock, snow continues to overspread the area, so some light and potentially at times moderate snowfall out there, which is why we have concerns about roadways. But take a look, especially on the Missouri side here, look at all this green. That's rain, because some of us are going to warm up a bit tomorrow and be warm enough that it's going to be a rain-snow mix out there. And others, which is why we're expecting higher accumulations out west, are not going to warm up nearly as quickly or for nearly as long. And so it's going to be more of a snow event, although a rain-snow mix will be possible in parts of Kansas. It's going to be a mainly snow event. That's why further west, we're looking at those higher accumulations for snowfall. So in terms of the impacts, these go low, medium, high. We have thrown up medium for the snow because, again, out west, it's going to actually build up a little bit. And for everybody, it could lead to some slick spots on area roadways. MoDOT camera I-44 and range line in Joplin. Now, it's looking to the east, and to the east, the clouds are not there yet, but they are building in, as you can see on the Cornell Complex camera in downtown Joplin. And we're looking pretty good from the KDOT camera there in southeast Kansas, just south of Pittsburgh. So now we want to talk very briefly about Tuesday. And here's the change. This is actually similar to the update that Doug Hetty had last night. This morning, it updated and pushed the freezing line by 6:30 Monday down further south, closer to the Arkansas-Missouri border. So putting more snow in a broader area. The newest updates this afternoon have shifted that freezing line back further north, putting a few more areas in more rain and less snow. So that's why we're not putting out accumulation estimates for Tuesday at this point, because there's too many variables and too much is going to change between now and then. Because on the long range models that tell us the estimates on snow, they've already changed a lot. So we're going to continue to monitor the trends. Now by 6 o'clock, it'll be cold enough that we will see snow across the area, and it will continue into the afternoon and even into the late evening hours across the area before it does eventually exit the region. So Tuesday, we want to keep a close eye on. There's going to be changes. There have already been changes. There will be more changes. But in the short term, Friday morning, we need to be prepared for slick spots on area roadways. I know some schools in our area going back tomorrow. Just keep an eye on those roads. Make sure everything is okay. Between now and Tuesday, temperatures go back to normal, 46 Sunday and Monday with the rain. And then we'll start to see that transition to snow. Colder on Tuesday into the low 30s with that snow. But again, there's already been changes. There'll be more changes. We're going to keep an eye on Tuesday, and you folks at home should keep an eye on Tuesday as well as we get a little bit closer. We'll keep you updated.
Yes, sir. Well, stick around. We're making Mamma Mia's tortellini in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. January is soup month, and Howard is cooking up something that'll make you say, Mamma Mia.
It's January, and that means it's National Soup Month. What better time of year is there to celebrate a dish that warms us up and makes us feel all good inside? So whether we're looking for one to fill us up or get rid of the sniffles, the one we're making today is always welcome. We start by sauteing a chopped onion in a bit of olive oil till it's tender. To that, we add a couple cans of diced tomatoes, a splash of balsamic vinegar, a bit of chopped garlic, and a few off-the-shelf spices. We'll let this cook for a few minutes. Then we add a good amount of water and some condensed chicken broth and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, we add some frozen or refrigerated cheese tortellini and a bunch of fresh spinach. As soon as the tortellini is tender, it's time to call the troops to the table. My guess is they'll be there lickety-split, since who can resist homemade soup that's this hearty? Between the rich tomato broth and the plum cheese-filled pasta, what's not to love? As always, the recipe for Mamma Mia's tortellini soup is online now. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fill you up way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at our 4-state market prices.